Outside of the Echo Chamber, the official I Dream of Indie Games podcast is brought to you by you, the gamer. If you'd like to join our mission to support indie visibility, head over to patreon.com/idreamofindiegames and bring a voice to the voiceless ones in gaming. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Outside of the Echo Chamber. I believe it's number 23, going off of memory, which is hard to do right now, Silent Signs, because my brain is completely burnt out. Obviously, a ton of gaming events going on. Barely Magic Mike is out there in LA covering Summer Game Fest and all of the announcements there. We're trying to keep up with things here. We are clearing our house, a million things going on. Welcome, everybody. That's quite the intro, isn't it?
Physically, mentally, emotionally, we are exhausted.
Outside of the Echo Chamber, this is the official I Dream of Indie Games podcast. We do, in fact, talk about indie games here. Well, sometimes. Most of the time, we just talk about dick and fart jokes. But when we can, we talk about indie games. Silent Signs, I'm feeling it today. Why don't you say something. Get me going here.
Something. A lot happened this week, as you were briefly mentioning. So we've got the Summer Game Fest going on. We watched that a little bit earlier this week. We're going to get into some of those announcements and some of the trailers we saw there. And of course, Barely Magic Mike's going to have the full coverage of that. But it's also Steam Next Fest. And
coming up anyways, yeah. Officially, it is the 9th, but there's a lot of demos out already.
When you're listening to this, if you're not a Patreon member, it will already be up.
Oh, Summer Game Fest coverage?
Yeah. No. Steam Next Fest.
Oh, Steam Next Fest coverage.
Yeah.
Yes, Steam Next Fest coverage should be live. I'm thinking, so this podcast goes live Monday for Patreon members. The video should be live Monday, so everyone should be seeing it, yes.
Yeah, right, yeah. So, we're going to talk about some of that too. Right now, though, the biggest thing on my mind is paint. When I close my eyes, I see paint. I smell paint everywhere. There's paint in crevices of my body that there should not be paint because we are painting our house, trying to make it look nice so that we can hopefully, potentially sell it and move out of our current town.
Yeah, that would be great. I could definitely benefit from that right now, especially when these giant motorcycles like to whiz by while we're trying to do a podcast.
One thing about our house is that we live on a semi-main road, and we live in a town with a lot of folks that love motorcycles. And every time we go to record something, a motorcycle will whiz by, and our office is directly in the front of the house. So if you ever hear a sound in one of our videos or podcasts, it's probably a motorcycle.
Do you think now, looking back on it, had I put the office in the back room, things would have been better?
Originally, it was in the back room. But then the problem became that we flip-flopped this office for our bedroom. So our bedroom used to be here, and we used to hear the motorcycles when we were sleeping. And if there's one thing I value most in life, it is good quality sleep.
It's like a no-win situation. I think like the moral of the story is if you can help it, don't live on a main road that has cars constantly whizzing by. And I don't know how people in cities do it. How do you sleep?
You don't. Or you're very
headphones,
heavy sleepers.
Maybe? Yeah, something. Earplugs.
I am a very light sleeper, so
me too.
I would die.
My problem is temperature, so I have to be a very specific temperature to fall asleep. Noises aren't great. They will wake me up, but if I am warm, my body realizes it, like even if I'm asleep, and I will wake up and not fall back asleep. So over the last few days, we've had to run the air conditioner, and that has given me like probably 5 to 6 more hours of sleep that I would have otherwise missed out on. Here in New England, the temperatures like to fluctuate and fuck with us, don't they?
It's been pretty rough because when it's not downpouring, it's like 90 degrees and humid. And then there's also wildfires in Canada right now that are
so we finally get nice weather.
Pushing down some smoke through our atmosphere. And it's been a rough go of it this June so far.
It has. It's been very stressful here, not only on the channel, but just in life. But that hasn't stopped us from getting you all of the great indie gaming coverage that you so deserve. And by the way, I know this is a little bit different from our normal rundown intro, but if you do want to support independent content further, no pressure, but patreon.com/idreamofindiegames, and you will gain Discord access to our amazing community who's been here with us through it all for the past 6 years. Almost our anniversary coming up, I think, Silent Signs.
It's a really freaking awesome community over on the Discord and just in general in the comments, even those who aren't, Patreon members per se. But we have a lot of folks who have been longtime commenters, and we see you. We appreciate you.
Yes, not only do you get that Discord access, though, you get shout-outs at the end of every single video that we produce. This show, maybe most importantly, though, Silent Signs, everyone gets it 3 days early. So you get to tell all your friends what happened on the last episode of Outside of the Echo Chamber before they know.
You can tell them that you know, and they have to wait.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that. Yeah. Make your friends suffer, I guess, a
Make
little
your
bit.
friends jealous.
Thank you for your support, however you do it. If you are just listening on YouTube, we appreciate you greatly as well. Or maybe you are over at Spotify, where we are also podcasting 1 day a week.
We do be podcasting.
Thursdays, every Thursday.
Ooh, I hated that.
All right, Summer Game Fest. That is the big story, Silent Signs. I could pick all these little indies, but that would take like hours and hours, and I don't have the brain capacity.
Sure.
So let's go over some of the highlights, some of the indie games specifically that maybe caught us off guard. That was the one festival, like the big showcase, the Summer Game one, that was live in front of an audience. Barely Magic Mike was in that audience.
Yep.
Jealous with Kojima and the whole crowd. Pretty exciting for him.
Mads Mikkelsen or whatever his name.
That's right. As Silent Signs alluded to, we're going to have exclusive interviews from the show floor. Another exciting little exclusive here at I Dream of Indie Games. We had our PAX coverage, and we are really getting out there with the camera this year, Silent Signs. Finally getting a little bit out of our investment there.
This was our first time ever not being in New England for press coverage. We've done plenty of stuff in Boston. We've done, PAX East. We did, what was that older convention they used to have in Boston?
Oh, it was Indie... What the heck is it called?
I can't think of it.
I'm drawing a blank right now.
Yeah.
Fig. Indie Fig, was that it?
Yeah. Fig.
Indie Fig. Yeah.
Yep. So we did Indie Fig, we did PAX East, but we've never really traveled for this.
And unfortunately, we were only allowed to send one person over to LA. And of course, Mike, being the traveler that he is, was all about it. Maybe next year, if we do get to send two, would you join Mike, Silent Signs?
I think I would. I've never been to California, so I'd like to go.
Got to take that opportunity.
But I'm also very scared to travel there alone, just not knowing what to expect.
Yeah, well, I think if you had Mike with you, he'd probably be fine.
For sure.
All right, those big announcements, though, maybe some of you watched it live. Some of you didn't even know this showcase happened. I posted in the community asking y'all what you thought of the show. Most of you enjoyed it, but there were a few comments on sides like, what is that?
Yeah. To be fair, I can see the confusion because not only are we talking about Summer Game Fest, we're talking about Steam Next Fest.
I know, there are so many fests going
There's
on.
a lot of fests going on.
That was really
going to
be, if we did have a topic of the day, normally the show has a flow when we have like a whole thing that we do, topic of the day. If we do have a topic today, are these like 1 day festivals or these 1 day big designated days for announcements too much information? I think they are myself. It's just I can't keep all of this info in my head.
I think they're a great platform for developers to get noticed. That
Really?
otherwise,
Because I feel like you're getting lost in it.
Yes and no. So on one hand, you have people who are obviously tuning in for the big announcements, right? Like they're looking for their
The Grand Slam, yeah.
Exactly. They're looking for their one specific thing. But they might catch a trailer for a game that they had no idea was coming out that they might be super interested in.
Yes, if you can get in that showcase.
Well, you can watch the showcase.
I'm just saying if the developer can get in that showcase.
Of course.
Because there are a lot of other games that don't even get into the Summer Game Fest sizzle reel, you could call it, I guess.
Yeah.
But then you have the wholesome trailer reel that they do and all these other little sideshows going on and stuff. And it just becomes too much for me. There are links being dropped in our Discord, story after story after story after story.
So
Today there's an
many.
Xbox handheld apparently now. And you just keep getting all this information. I can't keep up with it. I don't like these 2 to 3 day news drops that just like I like news more when it's spread out over the course of maybe days or weeks or months
or a year,
years, yeah, the whole year. That's great, because we do get news stories pretty much every day of the week nowadays, right, with the internet. Why do we need like 100 to 500 news stories in 2 to 3 days? It's too much for me.
It is a lot, and I can see that, but I do know a lot of folks enjoy consuming their news that way, because this way they don't have to constantly direct their attention to what's coming out when, and ooh, and this was just announced, oh, and that came out, and ooh, next Wednesday this is going to be announced. Like, it's all in one place.
It is, yes, but can you keep track of it all? That is the challenge.
I can't even keep track of my own life, quite
Exactly.
frankly. So no, but
Yeah, I feel like most mainstream, we are indie to be fair, so we're in like this rare bubble of trying to get all of the indie game news out of these, like between these big announcements.
right.
Which is very different. I imagine like the big Grand Slam announcements that I alluded to earlier, people get those and then they move on and they don't really care about the indie stuff.
Bro, did
the
you hear
general
the new
audience.
Madden was announced?
Whoa, they announced that, and they announced Call of Duty 7. Is it 8, 7? I don't fucking...
There are
Too
I don't
many.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, they announced that. Like, that's a surprise. We know it's coming every year. But no, there were some cool indie announcements. In fact, Jeff Keighley, the host of Summer Game Fest, even shouted out indie games specifically
Hell yeah.
quite a few times throughout the show, which just shows the strength of the indie scene growing and growing. They had at the beginning of this showcase a list of the top Steam games that were played, I
yeah.
think, over the last few months or maybe even a year.
Yep.
And 2 of them were indie games, I believe, if not more.
Yeah.
Repo was a huge one. I believe Repo was actually number 1 on the entire list.
It was. He began the whole thing by shouting out indies. So, I mean,
That's pretty cool.
What a statement. You know?
Yeah, that is really cool. The fact that indie
sure.
games, they were right amongst the AAA games on that
Yeah,
list.
right
Just
there
incredible.
In the ranks.
Yeah, so that really shows there is a cosmic shift going on right now where indie games are gaining more ground. But you still have the problem here, Silent Signs, of so many of them. And it's very hard to get noticed still.
It is, but, you know, these kinds of things help a little bit. At least they pique people's interest.
For sure.
And people who might not otherwise even be aware of kind of the indie game scene, they get to see these trailers and they might say, hey, I loved that game Repo. What other indie games are out there that I love?
I thought that was a really great intro for this showcase, shouting out indie games, bringing them some exposure, and who knows, maybe actually even getting some new fans over to check out indie games. So good job there, Jeff Keighley. I can appreciate that. Let's get into some of the announcements, Silent Signs. We'll kick it off with, this threw me for a loop. In fact, a theme this whole weekend has been sequels that I had no idea had a demand or should exist, but this has happened quite a few times. Starting with Mortal Shell 2. I played the original Mortal Shell, feels like years ago now. It must have been years ago at this point when we had that game on the channel. It is a very tough Souls-like, had plenty of issues. I kind of thought it just came and went, to be honest. I wasn't thinking of them ever doing a sequel, but lo and behold, the show opened up, or it was like one of the first trailers, I think.
It was pretty early on in
amongst
there.
the early trailers, we get a Mortal Shell 2, and that's not apparent until the title reveal at the end. I thought it looked great.
It looks freaking awesome. That enemy monster design is top notch.
Top notch,
creepy.
right up there with like
I
the AAA
loved
Souls
it.
games. Yeah, it
Yeah.
looked incredible. Very vicious, very violent. I am concerned because Mortal Shell was so difficult, but we'll have to see it on that front. You know, we are starting to see more accessibility options. We had Lies of P just drop. I think that was a stealth drop with the new DLC.
Mm-hmm.
And that, of course, is getting some accessibility options, which makes me so excited to actually be able to make some progress in that game.
Love that.
So maybe Mortal Shell 2 will follow suit, but I'm not so sure. With a name like Mortal Shell,
I am cursed with loving the dark, like, tone of Souls games and, like, the whole look and vibe of them, but being a terrible Souls player.
I know.
So, I mean,
I feel you
while
on
I
that.
admire the games and I think they're really cool, I'm always scared to...
The next game I want to mention, even though it is definitely AAA, but it has like this weird indie feel. I've always felt this way about Death Stranding. They did show some new footage of Death Stranding 2, and it's just as weird as the first game, if not even weirder. Kojima came on stage and all of that. Now, again, I know this is more of a AAA big budget project, but how do they keep giving this guy money outside of him being a legend to make like this highly unusual franchise?
Yeah, because he's the only person who ever could make this work. He really is.
Yeah, you'd think they'd like tone the budget down a
At
little bit.
this point,
because,
they
like,
just throw money at Kojima and they're like, "Here you go, make something weird."
like I don't have sales numbers in front of me, but I don't feel like Death Stranding was this massive hit. I could be
It
wrong
was-
about that.
it was-
Like, I think it found an audience, but I wasn't exactly expecting a sequel ever. But here we are, Death Stranding 2. I know this is an indie podcast, but I just think that game's weird enough to kind of fit into the indie sphere, even though I know it's like a big budget game.
It's not
Does that
indie,
make sense to you?
but it's definitely niche.
Yeah, it's really, really niche.
Your
you know?
average Call of Duty player is probably not looking forward to the new Death Stranding.
No,
I
I-
just feel like there's like a disconnect there.
I actually feel like a lot of people in our audience are going to be more interested in a game like Death Stranding, just because
Yeah.
it is oddball, weird. It's not your usual AAA romp. So I have an appreciation for this series. I do need to get back and finish the original.
We
Remember,
really
we
should.
started it years ago, and
Yeah.
I think we were kind of sort of enjoying it, but not really making sense of it at the same time.
I was enjoying not making sense of it. I gotta
Yeah.
be honest with you. It was so weird that I was just intrigued what was going to happen.
Basically a hitchhiker simulator, from what I recall, but with a very odd story. But
I thought you were like a parcel delivery guy, right? Like you were delivering.
I just remember, yeah, you were
Packages.
delivering things
Yeah.
for sure, but I remember you having like the giant sack of crap on your back.
Yeah.
You'd have to hike up the mountains and stuff.
And your baby
yeah.
backpack.
That was a pretty weird game.
Yeah.
You know, I think I own it on PC now. I should definitely go back and play that at some
For
point.
sure.
Story of my life. Go back
Add
and
it to
play
the
something.
list.
They showed, all right, again, a little bit AAA here, but I do have to shout it out because I really like this series.
I know you do.
I actually like it more than Mario Kart. I'm sorry, Mario Kart fans. Sonic Racing Crossworlds was shown at this showcase. Have you played any of these with me, Silent Sense?
Way back in the day.
Yeah, they're
like,
fun.
I want to say 2019-ish.
I know you are Miss Crash Team Racing,
I am.
but did you have any fun with the Sonic series of
They're-
racing games?
Yeah, they're
Pretty good arcadey, right?
They're arcadey fun. I mean, any kart race is pretty fun.
Like,
right?
you're not Miss Mario Kart either, right?
No, I was never as good at Mario Kart as I was at Crash Team Racing.
There's a distinct feel to Mario Kart that has never gelled like fully with me. I think the games are fun, but I'm not great at them, and I never really have been.
We got to shout out Nate.
Yes. Oh gosh, he's such a. We did.
Nate.
This was a few months ago. We were like, you know
Yeah.
what? I'm gonna dust off the old Switch, and I know some people in the community own Mario Kart, so let's do a few rounds. And I think it was just Nate and Mitch showed up. Right?
We
Something like that.
ate Nate's dust.
And he was amazing at Mario Kart. My
The
goodness.
race started and he was gone.
I called it a
so
victory at one
far.
point that I saw him on the screen. Like, he was so far ahead. I was just like, it felt like a victory just to see him for a brief moment on the racetrack.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're going off track. I do like Sonic Racing, though. I wanted to shout that out. And I'm
Yes.
excited for this one. Looks like there's going to be some crossover
Yeah,
with
we got
other
some Hatsune
Sega
Miku.
characters and not even Sega characters, actually. You had like Joker from Persona. Well, no, they own Atlas now. That's right.
Everything's blurring together at this point. I mean,
Yeah, so kind of a
Disney,
Sega character.
Disney owns Marvel.
Yeah, you can't keep up with all this
Yeah,
corporate stuff.
whatever.
It's too much to keep up with. Mouse PI for Hire was shown.
Oh.
Silent Sense. This is a game that's been kicking around for a while.
With the big announcement, right?
Yes. Yes. Did it get a date?
It didn't get a date, but it did. We did get the announcement that Troy Baker's doing that.
That's right.
The
yes.
voice of
I
the
didn't even
mouse?
remember that until just
Oh,
now.
I
Yeah.
did.
Yep, you're right. I was telling, shout out to Ed in our Discord. Lex Noyle, I think he goes by, nickname. He is a voice actor of sorts, right? And he's always saying, you know, how does this guy get all these roles? If I was going to go into an audition and I knew he was on the list, I just wouldn't show up.
Yeah.
Because he's going to get the job.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
But yeah, Mouse PI for Hire. It's like 1930s-ish style cartoon, like
Yeah.
old school Mickey Mouse, like Steamboat Willie stuff. Really cool art direction. It's a first-person shooter, kind of, though.
It is.
So
It's first person something.
I feel like that's a hurdle for you.
Real quick segue from this one, though, to another game that I was really excited about that was in a very similar style, I want to say, was Into the Unwell. Do you recall that one? It has a similar cartoony, like black and white with
Oh,
some
yeah,
color
yeah.
style.
I didn't know the name until just now, but yeah, we have no notes in front of us. But
No, this is me going off of memory. But Into the Unwell is not first person, and that one I really want to play. It was about somebody who was obviously struggling with their mental health. It has a Cuphead kind of vibe to it, that kind of grayscale color
Ooh.
scheme. This game looks
I
sick.
see it again now. It does have that Cuphead-ish.
The
style
enemies
to it,
especially,
yeah.
right? Like there's a giant eggplant at some point, and I was like, oh, that would have belonged in Cuphead
Third-person
for sure.
roguelite game, they're calling it. Does that scare you off a bit, the roguelite elements?
It doesn't. I want to
Okay.
play this.
Yeah, and
desperately.
up to 2 friends can join in as well, apparently.
I also love that.
And early access to start. Okay. So, you can actually join the playtest according to the Steam page, or you can
Oh.
request access, and maybe you'll get in.
Can we?
So, yeah, I can hit the button.
Can
Yeah.
you?
I'm not logged in on this computer, but I can.
Dang it.
I can do that after the podcast. That looks really nice. That is like
I know.
truly like looking at an old cartoon.
Yes.
Amazing. Everyone's trying to get the whole Cuphead thing going ever since they nailed it down so
Yeah.
well.
With mixed results.
Remember what was it? Eternal Portals or whatever. The hell they-
Enchanted
Enchanted
Portals.
Portals. Good God, that was one of the worst games I've played on this channel.
I remember everything.
Yeah, you do have the memory of a what's something with a good memory.
Elephants.
There you go. See, I
I'm
couldn't
not
even remember
insulted.
something with a good memory. That's how good my memory is. Yeah, so that was a really cool announcement indeed. Another announcement here, another surprise sequel, Atomic Heart 2. Did you get to see that? Kind of like the steampunk-ish first-person shooter. It's a sequel that I did not think was going to ever happen. I kind of thought that Atomic Heart wasn't well received or particularly liked by a lot of people. I know, again, shout out to Ed. He really enjoyed it. I didn't spend a lot of time playing it myself, but I was surprised to see a sequel.
It wasn't one of the more exciting announcements for me. I got to be honest. What was really exciting for me, though, was Felt That. And I know you're going to remember what Felt That was.
Oh, yes. The puppety boxing game?
The puppet, knockout
like
type, punch out.
Punch out, yeah. Knockout, punch out, same thing.
You know what I mean.
Mike Tyson's knockout.
Yes.
Yeah, punch out.
That's the Aldi brand.
I agree. This looked good. It was like the Muppets boxing or something like that.
I love the humor of the whole thing.
I'm trying to remember going off memory with that trailer. Did it seem to have the patterns, too, that Punch-Out is known for? Like, was the character dodging to the left and ducking and all that?
That was kind of the vibe I got. It didn't really say a whole lot, like, explicitly, other than...
I don't think it needed to, though.
It didn't need to.
It caught my attention.
The
right
art
away.
style was going to catch somebody's attention. There was like a distinct, very interesting visual trailers in this. Like that one, Felt That, and what was that other stop motion game?
Felt That boxing. I got the page up here right now. Step into the shoes of Ezra Fuzzy Wright, an unlikely hero with a big heart.
It looks so
Battled his way
good.
through the tournament of 1,000,000 punches. Oh, you're trying to save an orphanage. Interesting. Yeah, that does look... It definitely looks like Punch-Out with the health bars and everything. Yeah, that's really cool. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. What was the other game? The stop-motion game? We'll probably get to it on this
something
list at
about
some point.
words.
It wasn't Killer In, was it? That's
No.
another game on this
It
list.
was something words.
Okay, we'll find it on this list
We'll find
eventually. Marvel Cosmic Invasion. Silent Signs, arcade
I
brawler.
I knew you would be
in the
excited
Marvel
for that.
universe. You had Wolverine in there. I think this trailer revealed She-Hulk, if
Yep.
I recall. That got Ed excited. Man, I'm shouting out Ed a lot. It's because me and Ed were communicating while the showcase was going on.
Shameless
So,
plug for
you know,
joining the Discord.
Yeah, and I'm sure that the channel was muted as I blabbed on and on for like 2 hours straight. But that's okay for a lot of people. They probably muted me.
Every once in a while, I would just get really excited about something stupid like Felt That.
Marvel Cosmic Invasion, though, looks like a classic arcade brawler. You get those Marvel characters, of course, great art direction. The whole Marvel brawler thing speaks to me, Silent Signs. I love arcade brawlers, as you know. We've had a resurgence of them over the last few years. Obviously, a new Turtles game that was fantastic. We've got the Toxic Avenger coming up in a brawling game that looks great, and now Marvel Cosmic Invasion. I thought it looked awesome. Any interest in this? I know you're not a Marvel girly per se, but you like a good brawler, right?
I mean, I'm not against Marvel. I do like a good brawler from time to time.
No, we did just recently watch, and we're late to the party here with the
Wicked late.
Wolverine Deadpool. Did you like it?
Deadpool versus Wolverine was enjoyable. Which
pretty
reminds
alright.
me, there was a Deadpool VR game that was
That's
out.
right. You know what? That's on the list here. You're right. Good call.
Yeah.
And we have a MetaQuest. I think it was MetaQuest exclusive.
It was,
right? Which kind of
yes.
surprised me. It looked good, but again, motion sickness is a thing for me in VR
Yeah.
when it comes to first-person games.
Some games do have options that are better than others when it comes to kind of counteracting motion sickness.
Right, like click movement, so you're not necessarily having full control. And, would you try Deadpool VR? Is that
I
something you'll check
would.
out?
I mean, it
think it's gonna be
appeals
fun.
to me. I
Yeah.
do like the Deadpool sense of humor.
I do too.
For what it's worth.
Yeah. They're not getting Ryan Reynolds for this, were they?
No, they got Neil Patrick Harris.
Really?
Is
Really?
Deadpool.
Interesting. It's all kind of a blur to me. I watched
I don't
this
know.
so long ago now.
Yeah.
That's cool, though. That's cool. Finally get some use out of our MetaQuest.
Oh.
It's been a while.
The game I was thinking of that I really like the art style, the stop motion animation, was Out of Words.
Out of Words. Okay. Cool. Cozy stop motion co-op adventure. It's going to be on Epic. That's why I wasn't seeing it on Steam.
What?
You can invert gravity, apparently.
Yeah.
It looks kind of cool. The stop motion technique you were talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Just the art really kind of took my breath away. I love stop motion animation. A lot of my favorite movies have been stop motion animation movies. I find the style so charming. When I was a kid, I took a stop motion animation class. That's how much I loved like Wallace and Gromit and
Really?
stuff like that.
Were you
I wanted
doing
to
like
be able to do it.
the frame by frame thing?
Yes.
Like, oh man, that looks painful. So
It
slow.
was. Let me tell you. It was really hard, but super fun. And I have like such admiration for that style.
I remember growing up, me and my dad didn't watch a lot of TV together, but there was one time this thing was on about how they made Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah.
and they showed the actual process, which each frame was like, bend the finger a little bit.
Yeah, or like
Next shot, bend it more.
even Nightmare Before Christmas, like all of the work.
Even my father, who did not like animation for whatever reason, was like, that must take a hell of a long time.
And it does.
That's brutal.
Yep.
You know, I have a real appreciation for that style now, just knowing what goes into it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
I recommend
mean,
if you can dig out that documentary. I don't know specifically which one it was, but there's something out there that showed the making of that show, Wallace and
Yeah.
Gromit. So
There's also the documentary. Oh my God, we're getting way off topic. The documentary about Nightmare Before Christmas is on Netflix.
that was really cool.
Yeah, with the stop motion.
Also
too.
painful and
Yeah.
like crazy with the whole Tim Burton not actually being a huge part of it.
Who's
So-
surprised?
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, we did go off topic there. Do you remember what Killer In was?
I don't. I
Killer
was
In.
looking at that on your list,
I'm
and I
gonna
was
pull it up here.
trying to recall. I might not have been watching at that point.
I think I was, but again, everything's a little bit of a blur. Forgive me now.
Oh, you know what that one was? That was that like multiplayer game where they're like
the
Clue.
murder one.
Yeah, I forgot what that
Yeah.
was called.
It was like, like you
Yeah.
said, it's kind of like Clue, but you actually go hands on and kill people.
Yeah.
It looks fun.
I thought it looked
I wouldn't mind doing
silly.
a game night with this, but it is Square Enix, so actually more in the AAA realm.
Definitely.
believe it. AAA game. That's why I didn't remember it. I wasn't
Yes.
paying attention that much.
Exactly.
It did look kind of fun, though. Mio, Memories in Orbit, like a very stylish-looking Metroidvania. That looks cool.
Fractured Blooms.
Fractured Bloom.
That was the cozy horror game.
Oh, God, that was so good.
I can't wait to see what this actually turns out to be.
Why do I think of underwear for some reason when I hear blooms?
Bloomers?
Bloomers, that's why.
There you go.
This is not about underwear, though.
No.
It is a misleadingly cozy game, as you alluded to there.
Yeah.
Starts out like all nice and friendly, you're gardening, and then all of a sudden, what the
Cooking.
fuck? Yeah, and then all this violent shit just starts popping up on the screen.
Blood.
I loved that. I thought that was so unexpectedly cool.
Very fun.
Did nobody think of this yet?
Oh, for sure it's been thought of.
It hasn't been done well that I've seen.
I
anyways.
love when games, and especially indie games, can do this. They kind of combine genres and like blur the lines so well. I don't think you get that anywhere else.
You know, this is a great way to get people that are maybe not into cozy games to check it out, that love horror games, because I feel like maybe they'll realize, you know what, some of these cozy mechanics aren't half bad.
Yeah.
Now that they're married to a horror game, I'm going to go play a farming sim app. No, maybe not, but
Look,
either way, I think it's cool. It's a cool marriage.
I'm not big on cozy games just because I don't like the kind of chores aspect of it.
I don't hate them all.
I mean, some of them do it really well and really effectively, and they make you like feel like you're progressing, and you know, there's story to it and things like that. Other ones, I just feel like, you know, if it's not done well, it's like very tedious.
Yeah, you know, some of those tasks are like menial, boring.
It's like if I wanted to do chores, I would do them in my own house, you know? But I like when they add that additional element of, you know, horror or rhythm game or, you know, just something a little bit different.
Agreed. So that is what I'm very much looking forward to. Fractured Blooms. Thank you. I would not have like known what it was just based off the title alone.
Oh, I remember.
But when you like put the images in my head, it all comes back to me. So
Girl.
Fractured Bloom. Again, I told you, it's like thousands of news stories running around.
I know. Trust me. I know.
Nicktoons and the Dice. I know this is obviously Nickelodeon related. Do you
Looks
remember what
great.
the gameplay was exactly?
It looked like
Let me pull it up here. I'll get
like
a refresher.
a action game.
Nicktoons and the Dice of Destiny. Is it like that Jack Black movie? The Pick of Destiny? Oh, they don't have video here, but they have
It's like a little action RPG.
screen. Yeah, you're right.
It looked super fun.
Real time RPG action, just as you said. Yeah,
Yeah.
that looks fun.
I was very into this.
I'm kind of a sucker for anything Nickelodeon. To be honest, they have Garfield now.
They
huh?
had the voice of Sandy Cheeks on stage. I mean, I was paying attention immediately.
I'm
so-
way out of the times. I didn't know that Garfield was a part of Nickelodeon. Has that been years now, or
There was a Garfield cartoon that was
Nickelodeon based?
yeah.
Okay,
So
cool. Gosh, I'm behind on my cartoons, I guess, but I am 40, so I guess
that's all right. It would be
But I
a
still
little
like
weird
cartoons,
if
you know?
you were like very with the
Yeah.
cartoons.
I'm
of
not
the
like
modern
shaming
age.
anyone that still watches cartoons. I think they're great. I've
No,
not
I
kept
do
up.
too.
I've not kept up.
But like, you know, you got priorities.
Yeah, exactly. So I can't sit down and watch like season after season. If I could, I would.
Also, we don't have cable. So.
In fact, though, I've been thinking when I get my new office set up, which is going to be retro themed in a lot of ways, I was going to have like a little side TV where I just like watch some old Fox Kids shows like Eek the Cat and stuff like that.
That's fun.
Animaniacs and the old episodes because I grew up loving that stuff.
Pinky in the Brain.
I just want to like be in that room with things I grew up loving around me. Like, you know, that feeling is just good sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I have a CRT over here with just like Super Mario World. I'm not even playing it. Just like the menus going by. I got my arcade cabinets on. I know it's going to drive up the electric bill. That's probably not
You know
good
what?
news,
You
but-
already drive up my electric bill. Didn't
But I just love that. I love like the feeling of being around stuff that you're comfortable with, and that was a very special time in your life.
a
That's all.
YouTuber I liked did something very similar?
What's
I don't
that?
know if you ever watched that video where they made like a 90s room.
Yeah. Well, I've seen people do it. I don't know about that one specifically.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It was pretty great.
I don't know if it's going to be 90s specifically, but just some of the things I grew up loving. So I guess, yeah, I grew up in the 90s. So, hey, I'm an 80s kid, too. There's
Okay,
some,
man.
some 80s stuff in there.
What do you remember from before you were 6?
1988. I just looked this up recently because we talked about Ninja Gaiden, which that video is also live now. Played the demo during Next Fest. Big event going on if you didn't know about that one, too. 1988, when I looked that up, the arcade game for Ninja Gaiden came out, and I remember it. And the NES game, too. So, yeah, I can remember them.
Well,
I
but
can remember the 80s a little more than I thought I could.
it probably stuck around for quite a while because, let me put it this way.
It did, yes.
I started playing on an NES when I was born. And
Oh, yeah, it stuck around forever.
I can assure you, it was not when the NES first came out.
Well, yeah.
So-
Impossible, literally. So
Yeah.
Not going to age you here, though.
You can age me. I'm not ashamed.
53. She's 53.
I'm
now.
57.
That's not true at all. What else is on this list that caught my eye? We talked a little bit about Lies of P. Are you interested in checking that game out now that it's going to have the accessibility, or still not really your thing?
No, I'm still interested in it.
You
I was
are.
interested in it before.
I like the world of
I
it.
just know damn well that I will not be able to progress very far, and that's okay. Another thing I was really excited about. I actually was excited about quite a few announcements
You're
here.
so excitable.
I am very excitable.
Remember Ashton in her video recently? She was talking about how excitable you are. That's going to be a fun podcast. You two next week. Hey! 2 excitable girls on one podcast. That should be great.
I can't wait. But there were 2 Lego games that were announced.
Oh, that's right. One was like the Mario Party, right?
One is like a
Hold on.
Mario
I'll
Party
see if I can find the
game.
name somewhere.
I'm pretty sure it was just Lego Party or something like that.
Lego Party. You're right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
That one looks really cool. I'm a sucker for a Mario Party knockoff, despite the fact that I don't love Mario Party.
I like Mario Party, but
I like
it
Mario
is time
Party.
for someone else to do that for me.
But the second Lego game that I was potentially more excited about is a co-op game called
Voyages.
Lego Voyages.
Yeah, I liked it too. I like the look of it anyway.
There's definitely that building element to it, but it's that co-op, like puzzle solving type of building, which I think is really cool.
Do you remember the name of the last Lego game we reviewed? Was it
It is Head Up doing
Brick
a new one.
Tales.
Brick Tales.
Jesus Crow? I couldn't remember that.
That's fair.
Oh, that went to MetaQuest as well.
That's cool. I would like to try it out again on
Yeah,
Meta.
but I actually like that one. I don't think it got a lot of attention or recognition.
But
It was funny. We're actually like building Legos, in a digital space.
but you'll recall back in the day, like we used to play the Lego Marvel games. Those were fun.
Indiana Jones, all those. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were fun.
The Lego Lord of the Rings games or The Hobbit.
They were
Lord
kind
of
of all
the
the
Rings.
same in a way outside of the theme,
But they were
fun. It's
Quality,
like comfort food.
fun experiences.
Agreed.
I've always loved a good Lego game, and I love the idea of doing it co-op.
Okay, so not so much a Mario Party gal, but you're definitely into the Voyages.
But I love Legos.
Legos, that's enough to get you to play, maybe. Well, I was excited about Mina the Hollower
Oh, yeah.
finally getting a release date. It's coming out on Halloween. How cool is that? October 31st.
It's already my favorite day of the
It was
year,
already
so-
like an awesome looking game. I was going to buy it regardless of when it came out.
Yeah.
Maybe review it. I don't know if we're so fortunate.
We got our hands on
Great.
it a few years ago.
Yeah, I loved it back then too. We were actually with Celia, who it's kind of like I was with a celebrity now. She was on the stage
I know.
the other day. And I was like,
She
wow,
was
is that
so
Celia?
nice.
She looks awesome now. And she's doing
Yeah.
great. That's
Yeah.
great. I really like Celia. The couple times I've met her, I've interviewed her on the channel. I was amazed she was still there because there's a lot of turnover in the industry. She's
Hell
been there
yeah.
quite a few years. Good for her. Mina the Hollower, though, a top-down style classic Zelda game almost. You could describe it as. You're this cute, adorable mouse. He's got like a grappling hook. He's got all these abilities. Sorry, my chair is squeaky. I had to sit today.
It's got that like Game Boy Advance or like Game Boy almost.
Yes, yeah, old school,
look
like
to
handheld.
it.
We've seen that recently too with Pipistrello that Mike was playing. So I like seeing that. They're recognizing a lot of developers that people are playing handheld mode now.
Yeah.
So they're starting to kind of cater to that. I love it.
It's cool to see a resurgence of things like that.
Sure, yeah. Maybe the Walkman will be next.
You never. You know what? We went to a record store the other day, or like I guess
It was
it's more of a
Newberry Comics, right?
Yeah, Newberry. Shout out Newberry Comics.
Yeah. Is that an East Coast only thing?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Newberry's New Jersey or something?
No, Newberry Street is from Boston, which is where Newberry Comics originated.
Excellent.
I know the history
Excellent.
of my
She's a
Newberry
wealth of
Comics.
knowledge, folks.
Thank you very much. Anyway, we were at a Newberry Comics. Shout out Newberry Comics. And they were selling Discmans.
They were. I was shocked by that. I was like, who
And
the heck would want this?
Plenty of CDs.
And cassette tapes, too, are coming back.
Yep.
Even though I don't get that one because the sound of cassettes, I'm sorry, it's not great.
It's cool,
I get vinyl
though.
to a degree, but I don't get cassettes.
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of nostalgic to put one in. That's all I can really think of.
I just collect vinyls for like the stuff I'm really excited about.
So freaking expensive.
Just
though.
like Kojima, I got
Yeah.
the new Sleep Token vinyl.
Oh, yeah. You love Kojima's, what's that, his Instagram?
Yeah, I follow him
Which,
on Instagram.
well, I got to talk to you, Silent Signs, about getting our Instagram up and going again.
Yeah, we should
Gotta
do that.
Talk to
and
Ashton
make it
about
better.
it and you, and, get some of our photos up there because, like, that thing is so out of date.
Yo, it's real bad. I honestly
When I
just
search,
wanna,
I'm like, these are people that don't even work for
I
the
just want
channel
to
anymore.
kind of fresh start it.
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
Yeah.
We should do that very
Yeah,
soon.
We should do that.
Yeah.
What do you want to see on our Instagram? Let us know.
Well, I'll tell you what you won't be seeing. Much of me. I'm not a photo guy, but
I'm not.
that'll
It's
be
not
good.
really photos anymore so much as reels.
yes. I've revived the Twitter a little bit. We have, me personally on Blue Sky as well. So if you want to follow me there, I got the official at iDreamOfIndie address now.
Hell yeah.
So you just do at iDreamOfIndie.com and you'll find Old Gamer Joe on Blue
Nice.
Sky. It looks so official. So nice.
Very
Twitter, we
official.
are iDreamOfIndies, at iDreamOfIndies, if you want to follow us there. We're kind of just starting out in the social media world because despite being around 6 years, it's just we've dabbled with it, but we never really committed to it.
Yeah,
in a meaningful way,
it's
so-
never been our big focus.
I'm thinking now with more of a staff, we've got people with different experience and stuff. We can maybe get that going a little better. I know Ashton knows a ton about social media. She's very good at it. I am not good at it. be real with you.
Yeah.
We are. Well, you at least, you use Instagram, so you know the basics. Right? I don't use Instagram.
I think my last post on Instagram was from a year ago.
You're just a lurker then? Instagram lurker? At least you
Yeah, I
kept up
gotta-
with the trends.
I gotta stay up to date on like bands.
Okay.
That's the only reason I have it. In restaurants.
Anyways,
The
another
important
This is the
things.
podcast of tangents.
This is called exhaustion,
Yeah.
okay? Deal with it.
Mixtape. This was the one that Barely Magic Mike was
Yes.
just talking about. He said the demo was excellent.
This game looks excellent, mostly because of the music.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
You get
okay.
the Cure on there.
I remember this game now. The style again, a little bit stop motion-ish.
I love it.
It's a weird art style.
It's
but cool.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Are we doing like a retro throwback thing here again?
Yes,
It looks
yeah.
like
It's about like
kind of like Lost Records, like you said.
yeah, kind of,
Yeah.
but definitely more. I don't know how they got all the licensing to all that music.
I don't either. There's some like serious names on this soundtrack, right? Yeah, they got Devo, Roxy Music, Smashing Pumpkins, Joy Division, The Cure. That couldn't have been that cheap, right? Unless they gave them a deal or something. But I doubt you're getting a deal from The Cure or Smashing Pumpkins.
Hey, yo, Iggy Pop, hook
Yeah,
me
so,
up.
Maybe that's where a lot of this budget went, but apparently the game's great. Mike played a hands-on with it. We're gonna have that interview up probably for you all. You might
Soon.
not. Yeah, everyone should have it probably by now. Soon.
If not now,
Soon. There's so
soon.
much shit going. I don't know. Stuff's gonna be up.
Yeah.
No embargoes were broken. I promise. Hopefully.
Maybe.
Maybe. Kind of. Sort of. That looks good too.
So does Scott Pilgrim EX.
Oh God! Now this was maybe the biggest surprise amongst the indie announcements here, because Scott Pilgrim just recently came back. Not that like the original game; it was in licensing hell for a long time. Right?
Yeah.
And they finally got it out of that. That reinvigorated them a little bit to finally get Scott Pilgrim EX off the ground. Don't know if I love that name. Just call
Well,
it Scott
X.
Pilgrim. I guess it's been
'Cause-
long enough where you can't call it 2 though.
No, but their whole focus on Scott Pilgrim is about the X's, the evil
Oh, the
X's.
stupid
so
pun.
it's EXX.
I was thinking like
Come
how so many
on.
video games have EX Alpha. or
Well,
whatever
that's
and
the
stuff
joke,
that.
I
Yeah.
think.
Okay, that's
I think-
clever now. I feel dumb.
Now
You're
I
right.
had to
You're
explain the joke.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm stupid. Scott Pilgrim EX, like ex-girlfriend.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Or boyfriend.
Dumb old man.
Whatever.
Forgive me.
Yeah.
It looks great. It
Yeah.
is a brawler in the traditional style once again. Kind of has that River City Ransom vibe that you had in the original game. Can't wait to play that game. So good. You know how I feel about brawlers.
Yes.
What else was there? What was Wildgate? Do you recall?
I think it looked dumb.
Okay.
I don't remember.
We'll skip Wildgate. We don't know anything, but I do remember Ill. which was the horror game. It looked fantastic. Let me pull it up for you so you can... Oh, sorry, I'm hitting my microphone.
That's okay. This is already a mess, so just lean in.
First-person action horror game.
Yes, okay.
Takes place in a dark fort overtaken by a mysterious entity.
Yes,
Ooh,
this
that
looks sick.
so good. Oh my god, the visuals. I'm sorry, we're like talking to the same
Delicious.
Kind of reminds me of like Condemned or something like that. One
Yeah.
of those old school first person.
It's got that vibe.
You know, Mike was all about this one too.
Yeah, this is Mike written all over it.
I've went to one live convention type
Yeah.
thing in my life before, and it's a pretty wild experience, I have to say. The
I'm
screen
sure.
in person looks so much cooler.
Well, yeah, it's like going to the movies versus watching it at home, you know?
Yeah,
It's
and you got
not
a
the
different
same.
energy. you know, and
Or
everything.
going to a concert versus watching a YouTube video of that concert. It's not the same.
Yeah, speaking of concerts, what did you think of the Wu-Tang video
Oh,
game?
that's interesting.
Rise of the Deceiver? That was
That's-
very odd.
I did not expect to see
What kind
that.
of game is that even? Trying to... like, I didn't get much out of...
From the trailer, I think it was a very brief trailer.
outside of it was Wu-Tang. Oh, co-op
looked like
action RPG?
Oh, it looked like almost a fighting game to me when I was watching the trailer, but I could be wrong.
They are saying co-op action RPG with anime-style fighting.
Okay, maybe
So-
that's what I was getting out of it.
You're not entirely wrong.
I thought it'd be a fighting game. It'd be pretty
Not
cool.
much shown here, but the art style is weird.
Yeah, you
for
can
sure.
see why I would think this was a fighting game, right?
Well, in fairness, a little bit of a history lesson from Old Gamer Joe. They don't call me old for nothing. Wu-Tang was a video game once. Did you know that?
Yeah.
On the PS1. That in itself was off of an engine from a game called Thrill Kill, which is a game that was banned. It was not allowed to come out because it was so violent.
Interesting.
So they've turned it into Wu-Tang. Fun fact there for everybody. But Wu-Tang have a history with video games.
Well, Wu-Tang is forever, so.
They are, I guess. Yeah, they don't go away. I mean,
No.
God, that was like the early 90s, so they've been around for... Are they still actually like rapping? Or are they just a brand?
I
this
feel
point.
like they're just an enigma at this
Yeah.
point. Like, they are a
'Cause
legend.
I can't like recall getting any tour announcements from a Wu-Tang or anything.
I
but I
mean,
wasn't looking either.
Yeah, you're
so.
not actively seeking out.
You think you'd hear something, though.
Yeah, but no, I think those were the big ones for me.
Those were the big dick swingers, yeah. And,
I mean, Resident Evil 9, but that's not.
yeah. Obviously.
You
Big
know.
AAA. You know, there was Code Vein 2, another, like, you know, AAA.
I didn't like the look of that.
You're not an anime girly as far as that goes?
I like anime.
Yeah.
I didn't like
The art style in that particular game?
how the character art didn't match the world art to me.
Okay, fair enough. Animusha coming back, that looked great. No surprise
Yeah.
there. Dune, not a Dune person myself.
Oh, the what's it called? Game of Thrones game.
Yeah, what was that all about? It was gonna be like a
Looked
turn-based. Or
Pretty
something.
interesting.
No, not turn-based. Like a real-time strategy or something along those lines.
But
Jurassic World Evolution 3.
yeah,
We talked about Deadpool, Dying Light, The Beast,
yeah.
and just some other AAA stuff. So overall, pretty good showcase.
Pretty good
I enjoyed
mix
it.
of indie and AAA and some really unexpected sequels. So yeah, I can't complain.
Yep, I was trying to look at some of the Xbox stuff today.
High on Life too, huh?
Didn't see a ton of indie announcements, though they are. Nate here shared they're doing a Super Meat Boy 3D. That was just recently
Wow.
announced. Difficult platformer coming back 2026, it looks like. It's going to be on Xbox, PS5, and PC.
Did not know that.
Skipping Switch, apparently, for now anyway.
You know,
Maybe they'll announce
Switch
a
2.
Switch 2 version
Yeah.
at some point. This is actually me watching the trailer live.
I didn't know this was coming out. This is really exciting. I love the Meat Boy
Ooh.
games.
It is indeed 3D Meat Boy.
Yeah, it is.
As advertised.
Holy.
Wow, that looks good.
It looks very different.
Yeah, it's definitely not like the old school pixel art.
No.
It's 3D, like I said, but
Wow.
it looks really good.
Those saws
No.
look incredible in 3D.
I was a little concerned for this franchise after they had the Meat Boy Forever didn't do particularly well. That was the Auto Runner one.
And then they
which I
had
liked, but a lot
they
of
had
people
that Meat Boy Dr. Fetus's
Dr. Fetus's meat machine,
Yeah.
which I really liked.
I like
You know,
that too.
Again, a lot of people didn't like it.
I thought that was
I thought it was a fun puzzler.
I feel like a lot of people just didn't play it.
Yeah, that's probably the case too.
Yeah.
So maybe this is the last chance here for Meat Boy. So y'all should buy it. Looks
I will.
good.
Thank you.
Looks good. At least, you know, it's an Xbox trailer, so probably going to be on Game Pass if I had to guess, but, you know, don't quote me on that. So, yeah, there's some kind of breaking news, though. Most of you probably know about it
Yeah.
at this point.
There was a lot. I mean, we could spend hours.
Oh, Planet of Lana 2 was announced as well,
Yes.
apparently. I love the original Planet of Lana.
Me too. That game made me cry.
Not an announced, again, I told you, unlikely sequels.
Yes.
That looked good, too.
Oh, I'm so glad, though, because that was one of my favorite games that year, if not my favorite game that year.
There was No Straight Roads 2 announced. I didn't play the original, but I know a lot of people like that. Devolver showed their Ball X Pit game, which is like a brick breaker of sorts.
Okay.
That certainly looked interesting. Neo Inferno got a release date, apparently. I don't have the release date in front of me. Yeah, I've been very much looking forward to... looks like the release date's going to be October 2nd.
Oh.
October's going to be a good month this year. Apparently.
October is always a good month.
It is, but like we don't often see like a lot of game releases. Believe it or not, like since we've been doing this channel, I feel like a lot of indies come out before October. Maybe they're trying to beat the AAA rush or something?
Maybe.
I don't know. Grazing through our Discord because people are really good about dropping news stories in there. And those are kind of the big ones.
I mean, that's enough. I feel well fed.
Yeah. Obviously, there was the Wholesome Showcase.
Yep.
So that's probably tons more announcements. My inbox is full of stuff. So, yeah. Just a lot to take in.
It is a lot to take in.
But, all right, Silent Signs. I think we're going to get out of here for now because we need sleep.
Yep.
And you've heard us babble enough.
And
sorry for this not being like a normal podcast, but you know.
You're going to hear us babble a lot more because there's also Next Fest.
Next Fest video. I just finished
Coming
that.
up.
Yeah, that's coming up. A lot of demos. And so for the next podcast, you and Ashton will have a ton to talk about. Make sure you check out some demos, Silent Signs, so you two can kind of go over what you've been playing. And
I shall try. Between painting and more painting, I shall try to play some video games.
Yeah, dip into a few of those Steam Next Fest demos. I've made a video that you can enjoy right now about 20 plus Steam Next Fest demos, some of which I've played and some of which I'm just excited about. So
yeah.
It's a cool little list you can enjoy. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to another episode of Outside of the Echo Chamber. Sorry if it was a little rambly this week.
That's just how we are right now.
Debut next week. Ashton, first time ever on a podcast. Silent Signs hosting. Should be a good time.
Boy.
Maybe we should make Ashton host. Really throw her into the fire.
No, that's mean, but also just be prepared. I bring chaos.
Should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. She seems a bit chaotic too in the best of ways.
Perfect.
So should be a match made in heaven. So yeah, this has all been filler because I know that's the episode many of you have been excited about. But I'm sorry you had to deal with me for like 3 weeks now.
Deal with it.
Voice to the voiceless, everybody. See you in the next episode. Yeah, it's been a while since I did that.